We had two cars in Ontario on Friday, Amy and I. Oliver had baseball practice Friday afternoon. I was at the Meadows, and I did want to come back and hang out with the kids this weekend, at least for a day or so. Which made sense, especially because James had picked off two of our horses. He didn't pick off Rosetta. He chose Oh He'll Know and picked off a Foxy Seaside. So I said I'd come and drive them. Gave me a good reason to come. I was happy to do it. But one of the more unique things that happened, not very often, listen, I'm late for a lot of things. You guys know that. I'm not the most prompt person. I try to be, but as my wife will tell me, I just cram too many things into an hour, a minute sometimes it seems like, and definitely a day or a week or a month. And obviously there's some overlap sometimes. There didn't appear to be yesterday. Now, I was a little surprised as I left the Meadows on Friday that I forgot that the races started at 6:30, but when I crunched the time quick in my head, I was still going to be to Mohawk 45 minutes before the race. Now, it used to be before COVID, it was an hour, and it was pretty strict. What? No, you can't borrow that right now. You can in a minute. Yeah, if it'll reach. You might have to put that in the back seat for it to reach. No, that's an iPhone one. The other one's the Samsung one. Yeah. So, before COVID, it used to be an hour, and there was times where, I remember when I was a younger kid, you'd try to race in the first few races at Woodbine, which was about 45 minutes to an hour. No, not an hour. 45 minutes from Barrie Raceway in Innisfil, Georgian Downs. And often there would be stake races in Georgian Downs. You'd try and get your horses raced at Mohawk and go there, or vice versa. So there were times where you would be in a traffic jam and they would take you off. As an Ontario driver, that was part of the game, part of the business. It happens. You get taken off, you get fined, and you were taken off the drive. Well, after moving to the States, I realized that there isn't in most tracks. Now, there are some tracks. Most tracks you can call, and there's not a hard line. It's not like 1 hour, at 59 minutes you're off your drive. At 29 minutes you're off your drive. Most places will work with you if you're running behind. Keep in mind, I think this, now that I say this out loud, this is kind of predicated in the fact that a lot of the drivers have to drive long distances or take planes. So there needs to be that flexibility, right? And when I go to the Meadows, sure, it's supposed to be, I think, half an hour, but if you're 15, 20 minutes, no one cares. Northfield, same thing. Just show up, blow the breathalyzer. No one really bothers you. And there are times out there, I think it is a half an hour. But it isn't half an hour, 29 minutes, you lose your drive. So I'm driving up the QEW. I'm thinking, now I get stuck at the border because I didn't have my Nexus card, which thankfully I have now. It arrived the other day. But I didn't have my Nexus card with me when I was going to...
My Nexus card?
Yes. When I was going to Ontario, I didn't have my Nexus card. So I was stuck in traffic for a little while. I was a little agitated, but not too bad. I get through the border. It said 41 minutes, 42 minutes. I know I'm going to make up a little bit of time. In fact, I made up a lot of time. I was at like 44 minutes, and I knew that I had a quarter of a tank of gas. I said, I'm going to stop, get gas right beside the Mohawk racetrack. I did. Grabbed a drink for after, got in the car. As I pull into Mohawk, I see a voice to text on my Canadian phone. Where is that purple phone at, Ava?
I have it.
Let me see it.
It's a gas.
Oh, never mind. It's Ava's old phone. I put my SIM card in it, so I don't use it that often. So for those of you who maybe don't get a message back quickly from my pink, purple, miniature Canadian phone, it's because I don't look at it as much as I do my American phone right now, right? The whole story is I broke my Canadian phone in the US. You can't get it fixed as easy.
Same day I got mine.
Yeah, same day you got your new one. So I opted to get an American phone. I took the SIM card out of my old phone that was broken and just put it in Ava's old Samsung. So it works. The number works. Many of you have got a note back from me saying, sorry, I lost my contacts. Who am I speaking to? All the contacts did not transfer over. So it's a little cumbersome and a little annoying, but nevertheless, it's neither here nor there. I got a voice to text from the judges saying, I saw it, it was kind of blurred, like jumbled along a little bit because it's voice to text. It said you're supposed to be here 4 minutes ago. 39 minutes right now. What are they talking about? I call them back. Judge Van Woot picks up. He says, Anthony, you're supposed to be here 6 minutes ago. I said, guys, I just pulled in about the security gate. Oh, good. So you'll be fine for the 10th? I'll be fine for the 8th. Well, no, we had to take you off the 8th. Come again? Why is that? Well, it's a hard line of an hour. We give you, well, it's not a hard line because you get 20 minutes grace, especially if you're coming from 5 hours away. I said, guys, I was held up at the border, and honest to God, I apologize. I thought it was half an hour. Is it necessary? They said, well, we already made the change. We're at 38 minutes. I don't even know the last time I got to the Meadows 38 minutes or more before any of my races.
That's never happened.
So I think, the problem is, it's my, matter-of-fact way of being, but honestly, I swear I thought it was half an hour now. Since COVID, I didn't know that they went back to an hour. Apparently there was a dust-up a couple of weeks ago. A driver was there, didn't sign in. At 27 minutes, they took him off a drive, and there was obviously a nuclear explosion. Somebody flipped out, went back and forth, so back to a hard line of an hour, which I just... Here's the thing. Why an hour? So you take me off my driver Rosetta after race 6, 5, whatever. All the pick 4s, pick 3s are in, all the bets are in. What does it matter if I get there at 28 minutes before and you say, hey, Anthony, you're late? Oh, geez, I'm really sorry with traffic. You can make a decision as a judge right then and there to say, I'm going to have to fine you 100. What is the need to take anybody off the horse? It's just not, there's no need from the gambling point. There's no need from anybody's point to take somebody off the drive there. And that's just my 2 cents as a driver. And it's always been that way. We used to butt heads with the commission when I was a driver, driving a lot, and we'd be going from Flamborough to London, or Flamborough to Woodbine, or Flamborough to Georgian, Clinton to Flamborough. There was always that overlap, and it just always was frustrating. 2 things that frustrated me as a driver was the hard changes, which another ridiculous thing, and they do this in the States too, but it's from state to state, so you can't really blame them. It's just the way it is. But you would have a one state draw on Monday, finalized on Tuesday, while the other state hasn't even drawn their Friday or their Thursday yet. So you'd have some places draw Monday for Friday, other places draw Tuesday for Friday. Well, the Tuesday draw isn't even over before the Monday changes are due, so you are virtually promising, hey, I'm going to be at your track on Friday, but I haven't seen what any other track has, or where I might be needed. Maybe I made a mistake and there's a stake race in another place, and that becomes a real problem. So the easy fix to that across the board, if the USTA happens to be watching, is lean on all the tracks, draw whenever you want. Scratch time should always be a hard 48 hours at 10 a.m. the day before, or the 48 hours before, or 72 if you want. I don't care when you draw your card. It's 48 hours before 10 o'clock in the morning. 2 days before 10 o'clock in the morning is when the hard line changes should be in. Your doubles, your, whatever. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. So I get taken off the mare. Not a real tricky mare to drive now, James. I think we got her sorted out kind of since she came to Ontario. That first start was a bad start. She wasn't good. I don't think she liked being driven like that, or she had just come off the truck a couple of days before. New spot, new barn, new everything. It wasn't a good outing. Come back her next start, she was good. James drove her perfect. She won the race. Well, the draw comes out. It's James's choice. I told him straight up, Rosetta's a better filly. I love Oh Hill No. She's handy. She's a sweetheart to drive. But of the 2 of them, I believe the more powerful filly, and she will get better, is Rosetta. He declined my advice and went with Oh Hill No. I just told Jody straight, and James helped too. He said, hey, by the way, I put a line pole and Murphy blind on the outside of that filly. When she's running in, she's great. When she's running out, she's bad. It just makes sense. You're right. Didn't need it on the smaller tracks, but on the bigger track, it made total sense. So good job by James. Virtually getting himself beat. But James, he likes the filly too. Oh Hill No is just a sweetheart to drive. That's why. Anytime as a driver, you have a horse that's kind of the same as another one, you're going to go to, okay, who has the best shot to win? And then at some point down that checklist, that laundry list of things to look at and think of, who's the nicer horse to drive? And Oh Hill No is a sweetheart to drive. So I go up to the driver's room. Everybody's giggling and laughing. Anthony got taken off his drive. Whatever. I didn't care. I just want to see the filly race good for everybody. Jody was on her. Works fine with me. I told Jody the same thing I told you guys. Rosetta's a better filly. She's better when she's running in. She's handy off the card. Put her wherever you want. If she's in a spot to win at the head of the lane, she'll probably win. If she's good enough, which she is. Which she was. So she was a winner, and Oh He'll Know was second. I was on the 10th race. Foxy Seaside came up a bit flat, and it didn't take as long to figure out why. We'll talk about a lot of these horses later on the 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old racehorse lists. Foxy Seaside bled a little bit. Not the end of the world. I'd rather know now than in a stake race in the summer. Very manageable. We'll just put her on the LASIX program and manage her accordingly. And James said, I don't understand how this filly could bleed. She was so good last week. I said, well, what if I told you this? What if I told you she just bled a little bit last week? Maybe a little bit more than the week before. And then we trained her, tightening her up for the race on, let's say, Tuesday. She bled just a tiny bit. Again, now you're coming into the race bleeding 2 weeks in a row, minute amounts. But now it's compounded because we trained on a Tuesday. It went undetected because you just can't scope every horse all the time. Especially with a filly coming off such a dominant performance. Why would you put a scope in her throat? Now you're coming into the race with an irritated, inflamed throat, up a class, going in 53 and 4. Does that sound like something that might cause a horse to bleed? So yeah, I guess you're right, yeah. So Foxy Seaside, very simple. You know, these horses that we started early, the whole plan was to give them a little break. Not a problem. It's just forced us to look at the math a little closer. She can have 2.5 weeks off right now, come back, train back 2.5 weeks. She'll prep with either 1 or 2 starts before the Sire Stakes season starts. I guess the easiest way to answer the question you're all thinking, if you're my partners on her, is, well, we'll let her tell us if she's a Buckeye or a Sire Stake filly. As of right now, she's just a really nice Buckeye filly. Keep in mind, Gorgeous Package won multiple times in 54 last year, just qualified really good, and is probably ready to pace 55 at Northfield right now if we wanted her to, and she's definitely a Buckeye filly. So, listen, it's great to have nice horses regardless. I would rather have the best Buckeye than the 5th best Sire Stake filly all day long anyway. So that's how the end of the week ended. I just thought I'd start with an odd story about how I missed my drive and what had happened. To the judges, I apologize for putting you in that position. I, honest to goodness, thought that it was a half an hour. And I didn't think it was a hard line, because it's been a while since I've had a hard line put on me by any jurisdiction. It's always been, hey, are you close? Okay, great, thank you. And if you know, if it's something they're concerned about, or you know, maybe you get a fine or something. But it's been a long time since I've been taken off a drive, put it that way. And to Jody, thank you for filling in. Did a great job. You know, one of our clients said last night, kind of cleverly after, don't worry, James, you know, great job, Jody, but James will drive the horse next week. Let's be clear about one thing. James McDonald is my brother and leading driver in Canada. I played a supporting role to many, many good drivers my entire life. Never had a problem with it. I know that there's probably drivers that are angry because they'll drive a horse and James will be back on it. But you know what? We're all professionals, and if you don't want the job, don't take it. And that's certainly not, and I think, you know, when it comes to Jody driving the horses, it's great to have professional drivers in such a deep driver's pool, but I am going to stay committed to my brother, not just because he's my brother, but because he's a leading driver in Canada and has been for 4 years. So that's that. You know, however it was said or meant, a little explanation for everybody out there. Now, how did our week go? I just wasted 14 minutes into a video telling the story and talking about some horses, but it is important. Spitfire Overseas was awesome on Monday. It dawned on me shortly after Monday that with only 7 horses, actually Wednesday around 4 p.m., with only 7 horses entered in the New Holland Series, 3 of them coming straight out of the Open and Open Trotters, and the fact that they've only been going with semi-short Opens to begin with, that Spitfire Overseas was not going to have a place to race until after the New Holland Series. So Wednesday at 4 o'clock, the draw for Monday came out. I saw the 7 entries in the New Holland Series, one of them being Drebin. Obviously, the Open Trot did not fill, and at about 4:15 p.m., I called Doyle Trucking to have Spitfire Overseas picked up and brought back to Ohio. He's going to race in Miami Valley. Now, hear me out. This is how I think things will go this week. Spitfire Overseas won 2 middle condition races in the Meadows. Then he was forced to go over and race in the Open at Mohawk. He finished third in a 6-horse field, raced very admirably, raced good. Then he won the third class from the top, the 24,000 class, raced very good. Then he went back in the Open, and where he finished third again, just beat at the wire, again a 6-horse field, but raced good. Yo Mister won the Open, then was given the 9-hole. Next week he'll be in the Open again, I'm sure. I'm hoping that they fill an Open 2 and they let Spitfire Overseas in there. If he does well enough to do well in that class to push him forward to the Open 1, Yo Mister can have the week off the following week. I suspect Stacy's been asking about giving him a week off anyway. Give him a week off, race Spitfire in the Open, and what will happen likely next week is the Open trot will not fill at the Meadows. So it looks like Money will sit a week. The following week, looks like Money will race down in the Open or Open 2. No, they're going to make him race in the Open. So we'll see how that plays out. That's a little dicey. And Spitfire Overseas will come back and be entered in the Meadows Open. And hopefully that will fill off a week layoff with Money out of there also. Looks like Money out of there will bring Spitfire back to the Meadows. The end game of all this is that Yo Mister will stay in Southern Ohio. Looks like Money will eventually come back to the Meadows, and Spitfire Overseas will go back to Mohawk. I think Spitfire Overseas is just now getting back into shape. And for all of you, you know he is. You can see it every week, him getting a little bit better. This is 8, 9, 10 starts into the year, maybe. So, as I tell you, it takes a long time. Just that incremental muscle build from a good horse turned out to come back and get back into that open level, open competition level shape. It takes time. You're closer. Your horse is good enough. He'll get there or she'll get there, but it takes a little time, and now you finally start to see Spitfire Overseas. The shine from last year is starting to come back to him. I think he'll do well in Southern Ohio. I think he'll do well at the Meadows, and I think he'll do great for us this summer as we bring him back to Mohawk. Drebin raced great, an easy winner down a class the other night, but looked very, very good. We all can tell. You can see the program for Monday. It looks like he's third best. To me, he drew favorably. You know, you had the horse of Dave Maneri's in there, and you have the Frenzy horse coming back also. So 2 horses that are going to be very difficult to predict Drebin could beat. But he'll get his shot on Monday, and he's coming in very, very sharp in a very short field. So really happy with the way Drebin is racing and optimistic about Monday. Now the rest of our week, last week, Mounts for All was a winner. That was a great race. He raced very, very tough. He was collared, fought back, fought off 2 horses to win. A great race for Mounts for All. Vehement raced good. Not surprisingly, we never get him in 2 weeks in a row. He was in 2 weeks in a row and he raced good. What could he do if we got him in 3 or 4 weeks in a row? It'd be crazy. Hopefully he gets back in next week and we can get a run at them again. That's a good class for him. And he did feel much better the other day. Never Lose Felix didn't feel as good the other day, but then we found he'd bled a little bit. He'll be on Lasix for next week's race, and I suspect he'll be quite a bit better. His second start, for those of you that are gamblers out there, second start Lasix always appears to be a decent angle for gambling, I suppose. I've always heard, and as a trainer, I believe also. First start good, second start really good. I don't know why, I can't tell you why, but I'm sure a lot of you see that also. His second start on Lasix will be the final of that series, hopefully, I suspect. So everything, all the moon and the stars could be aligning for him as we move forward. Hey, do me a favor, Google what the lineup is at the Buffalo border. Well, we might have to go to the Whirlpool Bridge. We can go there now. There's so much traffic on the QEW here. I'm worried that we might be in traffic. Yeah, whatever. What's the hold up? For sure, there's something. Memory and Imagination race good. Wasn't awesome, but good. He'll be back in a week. It might take another week to get him in. We'll start racing him a little bit in Southern Ohio. I think that, I had gone back and forth with one of our clients about sending Irresistible Sun down there. My first instinct was not to, and I think he'll probably do well tonight at Northfield. But that path at Northfield, at least a consistent one, ends tonight. So he too will have to maybe head to Southern Ohio for a little bit. Makes all the sense in the world, I guess. I did want to get one more win into him, and it looks like he's in a good spot tonight. The same spot that Memory and Imagination was in last week. The next day, yesterday was a tremendous day. Looks like Money devoured them in the open trot. He looked very, very, very good. I was really impressed and really pleased with him. Arson, as I said to my partners, 2 starts from winning the open. A very good tightener for him last
13 minutes.
13 minutes. That's for normal traffic on the bridge. I might just go to the Whirlpool Bridge. Do you have your maps open?
No.
Can you open maps on your phone and look at Whirlpool Bridge for me? Arson fits a class below the open next week where he'll, I don't want to be too arrogant, but I suspect he'll do very well. Let's leave it at that. And the week after, he'll go into the open. Time is on my side. We'll either go to the open this week at the Meadows, or if it doesn't fill again, just leave it open. How long do we? 18 miles. Okay. If it doesn't fill this week, he'll go to Mohawk. Hopefully the open will fill there on Saturday. He too is looking at a tiny bit of rest as we get ready for the summer with him. O'Hill No Rosetta, we talked about them at the outset, and Foxy Seaside. All 3 of those horses raced fantastic. Now, all of our 3-year-olds are getting close. You've seen them qualifying. You talked about me training them. Apparently, Aunt Lily trained fantastic today. Jason filled me in on all the goings-on this morning at Northfield Park. He said that Aunt Lily trained fantastic. Blue Ventura trained very good in preparation of a Wednesday potential Wednesday start at Miami Valley. We're entering Spitfire Overseas. We are entering Short Back, Irresistible Sun, Memory and Imagination, and Blue Ventura. I don't know if any of the latter 3 will get in, but Spitfire should get in somewhere. Who else did they say trained today? Captain Incredible trained well. He's still a month away, I'm assuming. Captain Incredible trained well. So did... who else do we have trained? Grand Slam Dio trained very well also. Jason was happy with the way all the age trainers went, and then he filled me into the babies, and we'll talk more about them in a little while. He was just worried that the truck was slamming on the brakes, so he was kind of moving over a little bit. Now he's getting out of his way. Now the truck's getting out of the way. So what's next for our sophomores, the ones we're racing? Now, I didn't want to make the list too comprehensive because that will be in your 3-year-old video, but I did want to talk about some horses that schooled, qualified, trained really good this week that are headed to the races very soon. Gorgeous Package was great, and I trained her in 59, come a quarter and 28 seconds the other day. Then Tyler, I'd said to him, just go easy with her, don't need to stretch her out. We're going to qualify her today, come back with a real good training mile with her, 57, 56, and then she'll be ready to go for the week after. Jason said she had a couple of tentative steps in the first turn, got out of gear, looked like she might have almost run, come up pacing really well and won the qualifier quite easily. But they didn't chart her with a break, so that helps. I wasn't there. I can't say that she did or she did not. And I did not talk to Tyler now. I did not talk to Tyler yet, but I did not talk to Tyler, but I was just talking to Jason. He said she was strong, very, very strong though in the mile in the qualifier. As I said, Aunt Lily trained really well today. Arrowhead Hanover, I'm still debating, am I schooling him or qualifying him Tuesday? He doesn't need to be ready yet, but I am going over there. I am going to a nice surface on a hot day. I think that maybe Arrowhead could qualify. I only want to go in 2 minutes with him. You know, we'll come back with a stiff training or schooling again and another hard mile, and then we'll have him ready. I'd like to race him 2 or 3 times throughout the month of April, and then have him set up for the Bunker Hill shortly after that. I think the Bunker Hill is 1st of May, if I'm not mistaken. Just got to check the dates on a couple of these horses. I don't have them written down, but I do have them on my phone somewhere. Blue Ventura, as I said, not off to the greatest start of the year, but they said he trained well today. He'll go to Miami Valley on Wednesday, hopefully. If not, then we'll put him in one of our clients at Anthony. You got him in a claimer at Northfield. Yeah, I think that's more than a fair price for him. You know, the one thing that he looked like last year was that he was not going to be a Stallion Series horse, certainly not a Sire Stake horse, maybe not even a Stallion Series horse. Nice colt, nice overnight horse, but he's got to grow into himself. He's got to get the job done. Mohawk's no cakewalk, as you guys saw. One race, he was really good, finished second, sprinting at the wire. I'd like to see that, but then come back and got shuffled, moved him a little early, and he was not very productive. So let's help him out. We entered him at Northfield, he didn't get in. We entered him again, he didn't get in. Also eligible. We'll see if we can get him in at Miami Valley on Wednesday. Captain Incredible, as I said, trained good. Now, the 2 horses that really caught my eye today were Chicago Hall and Resolve Indeed. Both trained very... honey, don't lean that back too far. There's wheels in behind there. I don't want to hurt my seat.
There's wheels behind that?
Yeah, there's 4 wheels, jog cart wheels in here that Danny had fixed up for us. So, Chicago Hall and Resolve Indeed were super strong. It was I'm not going to say viciously cold day. It was a bitter cold day for what you're expecting. You know, the weather's been up and down, up and down, up and down. So when you roll in somewhere, it's -6 Celsius before the wind chill with a pretty hefty crosswind. Now, it would have been north wind, north to south, I think. I'm not positive. It was cold, I can tell you that. Chicago Hall 2-3 last half, 59 Resolve Indeed, and both James and I were just sitting on them going through the wire. James looks over at me pulling up because, you know, Chicago's got the big, easy way of going, and I was swinging on Resolve Indeed. We pull up and I said, "Was he okay?" He goes, "He did that rather easy." Cool, that's awesome. We'll school him this coming Friday, probably in 2-1, both of them. Come back with a qualifier or 2. We should have the maidens and non-winners of 2 cleaned out by then. Our horses, I mean, and they should be able to just slip right in. We'll be fine. The one worry I had this week, country dancing, she was shod for that icy track in a Mohawk, ended up at the Meadows, and she wasn't that good. Now, Tim's worked on her, changed her shoes back to summer shoes, worked on her this week. If she's bumpy again this week, now that Foxy Seaside's on the shelf for 2.5 weeks, I might just bring her back to Ontario. I don't care about the series this month or next month. My entire goal is to get her confidence built up, get some speed into her, and get some strength. And if she's not going to be able to do it at the Meadows, then she won't be at the Meadows. Simple as that. Those trucks run both ways, and it's no different. Amy said, "Well, you don't want to, it costs a lot of money." I said, 100%, honey, it costs a lot of money. It costs more money to lose it, though. Losing money costs money, too. And it'd be no different if we went to the Poconos for a stake race and she made a break or get out of gear. So shipping is expensive. I get it. But we need to get the horses in a position they can do the best they can do. And if country dancing looks a little floppy again on Wednesday, and Ronnie's going to drive her again, this is the first time it's happened to me in a while. The Meadows has already drawn Wednesday, as does Northfield Park. They draw on Friday. The Meadows finalizes Monday morning. I believe Northfield finalizes tonight. Neither place I'm going to go to Miami Valley. They don't even draw till Sunday. So Northfield has to be out the window. And the reality of the situation is I'm going to go drive Spitfire. So unless Spitfire doesn't get in, Ronnie Wren is going to be driving country dancing and Westland Warrior. And I didn't want to talk too much about Westland Warrior. Get under my skin the other day. That's fine. Just a little bit like a disobedient kid. She's never disobedient.
Are you looking at me?
No. I was absolutely not.
I'm just baffled.
Well, that's too bad. You're going to have to hold it for about a good 30 minutes, too. Not even a short period of time. Unless we go by what?
Yeah, ugly.
Yeah, big dually. So Westland Warrior, you got to get him back on track. A little more weight up front. Murphy outside, trying to pull up in the turns like a child again. He can't do that. Head pull inside, toe weights, take the vet wrap off and behind, and most importantly, add some hobbles. Enough with the braking and the baby, get your work done. And that's exactly what he's going to do. So Ronnie will be driving country dancing at Westland Warrior this week at the Meadows. Foxy Seaside, we talked about her. Freedom Hill, I trained Freedom Hill 2 full seconds faster than she qualified. That's a qualifier I wanted, though. Nice, easy qualifier for Freedom Hill. We'll come back with a stiff schooler. I wish the qualifiers were on Thursday. I would come back and school her on Tuesday and make sure she was on her toes and ready to rock. Friday, Tuesday. Thursday, Tuesday's a little tight. Friday, Tuesday's way too tight. Can't do that. So we'll probably come back with a schooler next Thursday with her at Northfield Park. Grand Slam Dio trained this morning back. Her liver was high, her white count was high. She needed another week, so we gave it to her. She trained today in 2.9 in a jog cart. Actually, she could make the trip to the Meadows on Tuesday. I could do that. We'll see. There's no point in schooling her on Tuesday unless we have a race for her on Saturday. Remember, I told you back when we had the vet work on her, she can't race until Saturday anyway because of
The speed limit changed.
Yeah, we can't race until Saturday anyway for the medication withdrawal on the medication doctor that Tessa used on her knee. So Grand Slam Dio, trying to figure out the proper trajectory for her. Gymboree. I think it's safe to say that James learned a lot. She learned a little bit, and she's going to go on a little bit of a tear here over the next few weeks. She is going to be bet right down in the maiden this Thursday if she gets in, and deservedly so. I think it's going to take a better maiden than I saw the other day to haul down Gymboree. She looked very, very good the other day, and I had a long conversation with James that started off mocking him, which was always awesome. I never get to make fun of him anymore, but I got to the other day. And then I talked to Mark a little bit also. You know, my brother Mark has been on the shelf, broke his back, broke a couple of bones in his back, has been a little bit sick and a little bit tentative starting back. You know, it's springtime. I told him, I said, you don't need to race till, you know, don't worry about racing at Yonkers and overnight races. The 3-year-olds are coming back soon. You know, the spring is coming. That's when you want to start to be active. And I said, along those lines, Gymboree, I said, this is a filly that fits in the Bobby Weiss in the Poconos. If you'd like to go race her, go ahead. If you'd like to train her for that matter, you and Leah can take care of her. Otherwise, you know, Megan or whoever, I know Scotty loves the filly. You know, he was bang on last year. She's a lovable filly. I always stuck up for Western Warrior, and he's a little bit under my skin this week, but we'll see how that plays out. But Gymboree has always been a very likable filly, and actually one of Scotty's favorites. So we'll see how that plays out over the next little while. I don't know, but the way she raced the other night, now it's hard to tell because we weren't going any speed, but she certainly looked like she had a little bit under the hood the other day. And I'd like to see her next 3 miles be good miles, and then we'll look towards the Bobby Weiss. We'll see how that plays out. But my biggest question mark of the week is about to be answered on Tuesday. Melisandre trained great the other day, trained great on Friday. She's coming in. I changed her speed from 2.1 to 2.6 and a bit, 2.7 on Friday so that I could bring her to the meadow. She's going to come in sharp and tight and feeling good, and I am super excited to see how Melisandre does in her qualifier on Tuesday. Memento Mori has been training great. Amy said he was great again the other day. Oh, he'll know has been good. She was good last night. Just got beat by our girl Rosetta at the wire. Resolve Indeed, I told you, trained great. And Rosetta, I just said, was a winner last night, 57, and was very, very, very good. Really happy with the way the babies are going this week also. Some of the standouts, I'm just going to start, we're at 32 minutes here. Some of the standouts of this week, I'm keeping my eye closely on Sterling Hanover. I see him getting better and better and better every week. Little hiccup the other day, just a matter of where he was positioned. You know, he's still very green, and he has those voices in his head. You know, I'm going to do things my way. Sometimes he's much more flexible now than he was when he was a stud, and he is very obedient. Now I see him getting much, much better, and keeping my eye on him. Some of the standouts for this week, Bobby was better. Rico Tubbs bounced back after a subpar performance. By the way, we're going to try and video for you on Wednesday. I'm going to reach out to Curtis and Steve today to see if we can lock that in. Jailbird Jog was much better on Friday. Also, Emerald Tom bounced back as I knew he would. Very good. Neuromancer looked better. Yes, he made that breakdown by the wire, but I think there's a lot going on there right now. And I think as you see over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, you're going to see him get better and better and better and stronger. Leland Hanover, sneaky good the other day. You guys go back and watch his training mile from the other day and how good he was. A big last quarter, a big engine brewing in this horse from a horse that's very, very well bred. I think I keep talking about this guy, and I think you're going to see what I'm talking about here as we get closer to the summer. Go Strong Hanover continues to be underrated in our barn, even as much as I tell you he's one of our better horses. We still don't talk about him quite enough. We don't talk about this horse quite enough. On Sarah, another one got to pay close attention to. And probably the most underappreciated horse in our entire barn is Tomboy Strong. I'm at the point now where the bitterness of that taste that her brother left in my mouth last year is dissipating. And what she is always been crystal clear. But how she's doing it has been impressive. I like this filly. I like what I've seen now. I haven't really tromped on the accelerator with her yet to really see, can I hear any noises under the hood? You know, is there any rattles in that engine? We should fire it up. But I haven't seen any chinks in her armor. She has been perfect for quite a while. The Pacers, very happy with them. Millie Girl has been awesome. Sweet Lake, quietly good. I got to go with her next week. Every time somebody goes there, she just feels a little tentative. When I go with her, she is like a bull in a china shop, and I can't really tell you why. I don't really know why, but I want to go with her this week again. Perfect Thought has been absolutely lights out, and I'll tell you, horse that was good the other day, Diosa Della Danza, was very good again the other day. Uncle Danny's starting to shine now. You guys are starting to see how good he really is. He was a drawing off winner the other day. Very, very impressed with Uncle Danny. Love Sensation looks very, very good. And I think over the next few months, we have some pretty deep horses. Obviously, you're going to see the cream start to rise to the top as you start to do all this work and add speed to the equation. You're going to see the cream rise to the top. Blue Rare is some of that cream. Perfect Thought, some of that cream. Steady Volo, again, some of that cream. Those three horses come to mind like that every time. And Blue Rare is as impressive as you could have a horse look in March of her 2-year-old season. Went through a x-rayed her knees the other day, just so I would have some solace. X-rayed her knees again. Dr. Latessa said, is there a reason that we were x-raying these knees? I said, no, just I have a pretty good history with muscle masses. Their knees generally can bother them a little bit. I haven't seen any signs of that yet, and I just want to make sure. I said, I don't see any issues with her knees. If you're that worried, just blister her up a little bit. We can recheck her in a few weeks, but she looks very good under x-ray, which I was very, very happy to hear. A really, really nice filly, and I can't say enough about her. He's a Fearless Peter looked great again this week also. First over, another horse, another Ohio bred, just another quiet Ohio bred we don't talk enough about. We have a strong crew for Ohio this year. A number of trotting fillies, trotting colts, pacing colt side, highest honors, no slouch. Pacing filly side also. Even Diosa Della Danza seems very, very good. I like what I see in this filly. I know you guys saw she was rough the other day. Minor changes, and we won't have any issues with Diosa Della Danza. So a great week at the stable. It's worth a 37-minute video. A number of winners. We won the Open Trot. Second in what was the Open Pace. Just a lot of luck. And we continue to trim. This is a time of year too. I'll always get emails. I had another one the other day. Anthony Bluebird Tuxedo Hill. I think we should just put him in once more, see how he is, and see what we can do with him. I already know what we can do with him. We've tried to do a lot with him, and it hasn't been enough. I think we know exactly what we're going to do with him. We're gonna move him, and we did. Bluebird Tuxedo Hill, and I'm a trucker. I was always cheering for Trucker. I just hoped that we got him over to Mohawk, and he stretched out and he turned into a nicer horse, but it just turns out that maybe he isn't. So he too will be departing the stable. So that is what has taken place. Hey, where do you got us going here?
The Whirlpool Bridge.
You're sure you put in the Whirlpool Bridge? Because I'm pretty sure that...
There.
Okay, yeah, that's it. I just thought it was that exit back there. My bad.
There's traffic.
There shouldn't be that much traffic. Just really, really pleased with the way things have been going. As I said, won the Open Trot, second in the Open Pace. Time is on my side. A week here, a week there. It's only going to make his year easier on him and easier on us. If he doesn't fit, they don't fill the Open Pace again, fine, no problem. I think we have him and Foxy Seaside to turn out for a couple of weeks in Ontario. Bring them back. The first start for the first start for Foxy Seaside, or for Time Is On My Side in Ontario's first stake of the year could likely be the Charles Jarvinsky stake, which would be good. We'll see how all of this plays out, but I got to be honest, I'm super optimistic. You guys know I'm always gonna talk about the glass being half full, but I'll tell you what, I'm really, really happy with what I've seen from the horses so far. So with that, honey, this looks like the Lewiston Bridge to me. Yeah, I don't know why they call this the Whirlpool Bridge, but I don't think it is.
No, this isn't the bridge. You have to go through there. So
I have to cross into the States to go to the Whirlpool Bridge. That's handy. I think they gave you, I think your phone is on some sort of narcotic.
Look at it.
Well, I'm just telling you, we're at Lewiston right now. We are at the bridge right now in Lewiston. Now, I'm happy because right now there's no traffic. But my concern is when we go across this little bridgey poo up here, it's going to be a parking lot. And then I'll try my best not to get upset, but I can't. No guarantees. So that's it for your opening. As you heard, we are crossing back into the States now. We have Irresistible Sun is in tonight. Tenacious Hanover. I don't know if he's in tonight. He drew better. No, Fire and Shine's the other one in tonight. So good night tonight. We've had a great week. Good luck to all my partners in Ontario also. It has been a great 2 weeks, and I hope we just keep going and going